Got a lot of action today because the NFL machine is a churning. Content after content. This is what the NFL does, and today is a negotiating period for free agents. The term that Jeff Rust hates, legal tampering.
I hate it. I feel like it got jammed down like everybody at ESPN's throats. It's like a talking point because I was in the car for like 15 minutes yesterday and heard that term like 7 times.
Why does it bother you so much?
Okay, it's 2 words here. Legal tampering. If it's legal, it's not tampering. If it's tampering, it's not legal. This is not rocket surgery here, folks.
If you are watching on YouTube, Jeff Rust
just
squirms.
He just rebooted.
I got smoke blowing out my ears.
Ooga.
All right. You are correct. It is a pretty ridiculous term, but it's the world we live in.
It's an oxymoron.
The quarterback's obviously most important position in sports. It's the one that carries the most weight. We know that. And there was monumental movement when Kirk Cousins goes down to Atlanta. You have Russell Wilson going to Pittsburgh, and the ripple effects that it sends to every other team that is looking for a quarterback. But one position that it's been very well documented how the players at running back feel they are undervalued and underpaid. Whether it was Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley last year having their kumbaya little summit about the value of their position and holdouts because they didn't want to play under the tag. Or you just look at how slow it usually moves at that position for guys to get long-term deals. The first day to negotiate free agent deals, running backs are getting paid. And Saquon Barkley is getting the second highest average contract in running backs history in the NFL because he could be averaging $15 million per season under the deal that he struck with the Philadelphia Eagles. It is a 3-year, $37.75 million contract worth up to $46.75. $26 million is guaranteed. He now has beat that number of the franchise tag. It could be up to $15.833 per season in Philly.
Which, I mean, go get your money. The fun part about this, of course, is that he also gets to stick it to the Giants who failed to build around either him or sign contractually the right deals for guys, botching the Jones-Saquon process last year where they should have tagged Jones and just signed Saquon. They would have been in a much better financial position going forward.
Sure would have.
Yikes, dog. And they probably would have gotten Saquon cheaper because he just wanted 12.
Yeah, he just wanted to beat the franchise tag number. And now he does it with your rival that you have to play 2 times per year. And
where they're not going to sit there and hand him the ball or get him the ball 25 times a game because they have other guys.
This is now you look at A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley. You've got Jalen Hurts behind center. They do need to rework their offensive line, and looking at where they're drafting at 22nd, they will get in a very center-heavy draft.
3 first-round centers.
They have got to replace Jason Kelce, and that is a massive replacement. But also, we had Fletcher Cox retiring over the weekend, too, which that is a big hole. And this is something that, I've been saying since the end of the season, where it's like, they're aging.
Yeah,
like,
but
they're going to have a lot more holes that they need to fill.
They did re-sign Bryce Huff, though, too.
I mean, I thought Bryce Huff...
Didn't they?
No, I think he is gone. I think Bryce Huff...
hang on here. I got it. Eagles.
Yeah,
3
Eagles.
years, 51. 3 years, $51.1 million.
There we go.
Yeah.
So you got good.
I mean,
good. But you have your other Lane Johnson is always hurt, and when he's healthy, he's really damn good.
Yeah.
They're going to have to use their draft capital to rework a lot of their positions that have been stable and, to be quite frank, outstanding. But you've had one of the best centers in the NFL for over a decade. Fletcher Cox has been Mr. Reliable, and even as his production, if his production goes down, it's that leadership quality and kind of being the steadying force on the defensive side of the ball. Philly's got their problems and their holes. They get Saquon Barkley, though, so you can win in a variety of ways when you have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, and Saquon Barkley as your focal points.
Yes, they've got the ability to attack you on every level. And now they kind of, I think they're more multiple, even obviously than they were when they had DeAndre Swift. It's just there's more to Barkley when he's healthy.
Also, in the running back market, you had a surprising move on a couple of fronts with Josh Jacobs leaving the Raiders, not surprising, but going to the Green Bay Packers on a deal.
2 running backs.
Well, not
anymore.
Because they're cutting Aaron Jones to make way for Josh Jacobs. A.J. Dillon is a free agent, but he's going to be the workhorse back up in Green Bay this year. In year 2 would alleviate a lot of that pressure off of Jordan Love, which I thought having the 2 backs this past year, it was huge for Jordan Love. Now you had Josh Jacobs, who he wants to get his, man. He's going to be very productive in Green Bay.
The Jones thing has always felt weird in Green Bay. There's always been some sort of like hesitance. Even when Jones was cooking, there was like, okay, no, but what about A.J. Dillon? Like they were ready to move on from Aaron Jones so early, even when he was great. And I've never really understood why that was.
It's draft and develop is always what Green Bay does. This is kind of weird on a couple of fronts. One, a free agent splash at the running back position, and 2, you're right. It was always like when at the beginning of his career it was, does he fit the system? And then it was like, no, he's really damn good.
No, he's really good. It doesn't matter.
He's really damn good. But you're right. You always had that feeling like they were almost trying to move on from Aaron Jones
before he got there.
Before he even popped. And it's like, then he popped and it's like, still same feeling. Yeah. It was a weird relationship that he had in Green Bay.
Just, I guess, square peg, round hole.
Yeah. Now you look at it, Vegas, all you have is Devontae Adams.
Yeah, it's
that offense is a barren wasteland.
Yeah, there's no quarterback. No, AOC does not count. Devontae Adams, whom I love. Jacoby Myers, whom I don't.
Yeah, Jacoby Myers was the ultimate Josh McDaniels signing.
That parting gift.
Where you brought him in because he was from New England. He was very successful in McDaniels' offense because of the fact he understood what they tried to do. He doesn't fit anywhere else, really.
No, Mayer's a good tight end. I think that will probably be found out even more with a better quarterback.
Yeah.
And a better utilization of him because the physical tools are there. But yeah, there's no quarterback. There's no running back. There's they are taking care of the offensive line. They're re-signing their center. They're re-signing Colt Miller. They're going to go down that path, which good. Miller's turned into a good tackle. Barham's a good center. So you go down that road, but you have a chasm at quarterback. You don't have a second wide receiver. You don't have a running back.
No running back.
And you have no depth anywhere else in your skill spots. So great that they have one of the best probably defensive fronts in football because, by God, they're going to be chasing quarterbacks.
Antonio Pierce is going to try to win like 3-0 every game.
Yeah, but they're going to have to figure out the quarterback thing. And I don't – they're the Tashawn Reed and Vic Tafur, who are been tight with the Raiders, have said that the Raiders are chasing about moving up the draft board to go get Jaden Daniels, who Antonio Pierce coached in college.
But that wasn't a good relationship they had at Arizona State. It was an absolute disaster with Herm Edwards running the show.
This is
you
why
had the
I throw my
reports
hands
of his
up.
mom like barging in and demanding meetings and wanting to sit in on position meetings and stuff like that. You had
I wonder what she thinks of the route tree.
When you had Jaden Daniels transfer to LSU, do you remember the cell phone video that emerged of all of his teammates being like, F that guy, good riddance, raiding his locker, which was a very bizarre thing to have happen. It was a messy relationship at Arizona State.
Little Lord of the Flies situation there.
Yeah, it was not good at all. So that would be an interesting move, but they're going to have to give up a ton. And when you have as many holes as we just talked about,
you can't do that.
The Raiders can't afford to give up draft capital because, one, your owner isn't very rich, and he's spending a lot of money on guys like Christian Wilkins and Max Crosby on the defensive side of the ball.
But hey, Tom Brady's shipping in now.
You're going to have to go and build your back end of your defense, and you're going to have to do that with young talent through the draft. So you're going to use that draft capital to move up? That doesn't make sense.
That which means it's right on par.
Yeah. But elsewhere in the running back movement, Saquon Barkley, he's going to Philly. You have Josh Jacobs going to Green Bay. Tony Pollard is, after 1 year of being the lead back in Dallas, now they've got a hole because he's going to the Tennessee Titans to replace Derrick Henry, 3-year, $24 million deal. in Tennessee. That's $8 million a year. DeAndre Swift has left Philly and is going to the
Bears.
Chicago Bears on a 3-year, $24 million deal. And there's one white whale still remaining in the running back class. Where does Derrick Henry land?
The big fella.
Where, and this is, you hear teams like the Chargers, which I think is a great fit for him. You see the Baltimore Ravens, which I'm not 100% sure that's the best fit in Baltimore, but
it's a big hammer to have, though.
it is a big hammer. Big old boy. But you have some teams now, this running back market is going pretty quickly. Teams are acting, and now that Saquon has set the bar, what does that mean for the aging Derrick Henry?
What does it fall in like, yeah.
And what does that look like for Derrick Henry? I still think if you are Jim Harbaugh, you are calling just to see about Derrick Henry and what it's going to take to get him. Could you imagine Derrick Henry in a Harbaugh offense?
Yeah.
Then you can go and you can draft Blake Corum, in the second, third round or wherever they have Blake Corum slotted, and you can have two backs, one aging, one that's been your workhorse before, and we know how Harbaugh loves his guys.
Then again, Harbaugh might look at Blake Corum and be like, I chewed through your knee. Probably going to have to go a different route.
But the Chargers also, they are fielding calls according to a report. I think it was Diana Rossini of The Athletic. She had that they're taking calls on Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, oft-injured Joey Bosa.
They're going to have to move one of them.
Keenan Allen and Mike Williams.
Yeah.
And so that could signal where they're going to go in the first round is they not an edge-heavy draft, probably going receiver in that at number 5. And then from there, or you go Brock Bowers, which I still would love. I still would love Brock Bowers.
I think they need to move on from one of Mack or Bosa.
Yeah, they
too much
financially
money.
They need to right now.
And that's the thing is, you do it a year early, as much as it sucks. And Bosa's the better player, but Mack's the guy who's there every week.
Yeah, this is going to be a very fascinating next 48 hours because on Wednesdays when guys can sign, we're going to see more. We're going to start seeing trades being made too, because holes on rosters are being created and being filled through this. I mean, it was really like the first 2 hours.
It just happened. I mean, it happened very quickly because the legal tampering period was wide open ahead of this.
Gotta hate you.
I hate you guys.
I mean, we've said all this without barely talking about wide receivers, and T. Higgins has requested a trade.
Yeah, and we'll have that coming up a little bit later. The Bengals franchise tagged him, and he is saying, I'm not happy with the funny business that they're trying to play with me because turns out Mike Brown still very cheap as the owner of the Cincinnati Bengals.